Hello everyone, this is the sixth video of Chapter 3, Write Linear Equations. In this video, you will write an equation of a line by using the point-slope form. The linear equation y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1 is written in point-slope form where x1, y1 is a given point on a non-vertical line and m is a slope of the line. The last two videos were covering slope-intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b. In standard form, ax plus by is equal to c when a, b, c are integers. When it was written in slope-intercept form, you are supposed to replace m and b with the numbers, where in this case, you are looking for three numbers. You will have your m as your slope, and now you're going to have a coordinate. Let's say you're going to have x1, y1. The reason we are not writing x and y is because you already have x and y written in the form. So if these three numbers are replaced with the numbers, then it is going to be written in point-slope form. Let's look at an example. Write an equation in point-slope form for the line that passes through -2, 3 with a slope of 4. Since the point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, you're going to find three numbers that can be replaced with each section over here. The first thing is when you are having a slope of 4, the slope can be written as m. So now I'm going to replace m with 4. When you are given with the coordinate is always written in x, y format. So the first number, -2, is going to be your x1, and then your y value 3 will go on here. If I rewrite this, it's going to be y minus your y1 is 3, that's equal to m was 4 times x minus x1 was -2. So here's the thing, negative minus 2 will be positive 2, and this is how you write point-slope form. Number 2, using the example 1, you're going to now write in slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form was y equals mx plus b, where you were supposed to have m and b as numbers. The main difference between slope-intercept form with a point-slope form is that the slope-intercept form starts with y is equal to. The point-slope form has a point right here, the positive 3. So my first step from the equation will be subtracting the number next to the y. I'm going to add 3 on both sides, so that way I will have y is equal to 4 times x plus 2 plus 3. To simplify this, you're going to distribute 4 into your two terms. Y is equal to 4x plus 8 plus 3. One more step, that if you continue to simplify, y is equal to 4x plus 8 plus 3 will become 11. Now that you're looking at it, they are exact same format, so this is what we call slope-intercept form. To practice one more time, write an equation in point-slope form and slope-intercept form for the line that passes through -1, 2 and has a slope of -1/2. They are asking you to write two different forms where you are given with a point and a slope. The easiest one in here to begin with will be a point-slope form where you will be just plugging in a point and slope. Point-slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. In this case, you are supposed to replace three numbers, y1, m, and x1. When you're given with a point, it's telling you that the first one is your x and the second one is your y. If I plug in each number, the y1 in this case will be the number 2. The x1 will become your -1. This number, -1/2, is your slope, where in this case, the slope is m with -1/2. You're going to replace it. So y minus 2 is equal to -1/2 times x minus -1 will become +1. And this is a part of your answer. The second part of this question was asking you to write a slope-intercept form. So I'm going to change this form into slope-intercept form where it was y equals mx plus b. In order to change point-slope form into slope-intercept form, you need to have y is equal to. I'm going to get rid of the number next to y as my first step. So -2 can be removed by adding 2, and I'm going to do on both sides. This will result y is equal to, you will have -1/2 times x plus 1, just bring it down, and then you add 2 at the end. To simplify a little bit more, to make it like y is equal to mx plus b, you're going to distribute your -1/2 to each numbers. Y is equal to -1/2 x, and -1/2 times 1 is -1/2, and add 2. To combine the like terms, -1/2 plus 2, so -1/2 is -0.5. -0.5 plus 2 will be 1.5. y is equal to negative 1/2 x and plus 1.5. This is going to be your second part of the answer. Here's a summary of how you can write a linear equation when you are given with point-slope form or slope-intercept form in 3 different cases. Moving on with number 3, write an equation in point-slope form and slope-intercept form for the line that passes through 8,1 and negative 2,9. In this case, both forms require a slope where you're not given right away. So you're going to find the slope using slope formula. The slope formula was m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you have seen my previous lesson video, I was naming the coordinates, saying this is your x, this is your y, and repeat one more time. Where when you have the same thing twice, I wanted to make them different by writing that this is your first point and this is your second point. Then you're going to plug in the numbers. y2 in this case is 9 and minus y1 becomes over here 1 over x2 is negative 2 minus x1 is 8. That is equal to, now you're going to simplify this. 9 minus 1 is equal to 8 over negative 2 minus 8 will become negative 10. Since this is a fraction, I'm going to simplify by dividing by 2. 8 divided by 2 will get 4. Negative 10 divided by 2, I will get negative 5. So this is your new slope. The second step, you're going to use the slope and the coordinate of either point to write an equation in point-slope form first. The slope-intercept form is great when you are given with the slope and y-intercept. On this case, since you're given with the coordinates, then you're going to use a point-slope form where you can pick any points to begin with. It's up to you. I will begin with just the first coordinate on here. So point-slope form was y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The 3 numbers I need to replace are y1, m, and x1. M is the slope that we just found, negative 4 over 5. x1 and y1 are the points. So in here, since you were given with 8,1, the x1 is your 8, y1 is the 1. And if I replace with all the numbers, y minus 1 is equal to negative 4 over 5 times x minus 8 is going to be my point-slope form. To make it slope-intercept form, again, you need to have y is equal to something. So y plus 1 on each side. Negative 1 plus 1 will cancel each other. Y is equal to negative 4 over 5 times x minus 8 plus 1. Once I distribute, y is equal to negative 4 over 5x. And when you multiply negative 4 over 5 times negative 8, since this is a fraction while negative 8 is not, I'm going to put 1 underneath. If you multiply across, this becomes negative times negative will be positive. 4 times 8 is 32 over 5. And this is simplified. I'm going to write plus 32 over 5 and adding 1. When you're adding 1 with a fraction, again, I'm going to write on here 32 over 5 plus 1, where 1 can be written as 5 over 5. I'm trying to make the same denominator so that when I add the fractions, I'm just adding the numerator. 32 plus 5 will be 37, and 5 will remain the same. You do not add 5 plus 5. And thus, my equation is equal to negative 4 over 5x plus 37 over 5, and this is the second part of your answer. Continuing from number 3, write an equation in point-slope form and slope-intercept form for the line that passes through 3, 0 and 6, negative 3. Again, both point-slope form and slope-intercept form needs to have a slope. In this case, you have to find the slope using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. In this case, if you name them, this is going to be your x1, y1. This is your x2, y2. y2 is negative 3 minus y1 is 0 over x2 is 6 minus x1 is 3. If you simplify this, you will get negative 3 over 3, which will be equal to negative 1. If you're using the point-slope form, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, where in this case, you need to have y1, m, x1 in number. In here, m is negative 1, where your point can be either 3, 0 or 6, negative 3. If you plugged in 6, negative 3, this will look like x1 is your 6, y1 is negative 3. When you rewrite this, you'll get y minus negative 3 will become positive 3 is equal to -1 times x minus 6. This is the point slope form where if you are writing slope intercept form from here, you're going to solve for y by subtracting 3 on both sides. Then it becomes y is equal to, if I distribute this, you will get -1x, and then if I distribute -1 with -6, it will become +6, and you have -3 at the end. So if you simplify this, y is equal to -x plus 3, and this is your slope-intercept form. For part D, if I repeat, m is equal to, you will get -10 minus 2, which is -12, over 5 minus -1, you will get 6. This becomes -2. To write point slope form, y minus y1, in this case, if I use the first point, it's going to be 2, that's equal to, m was -2 times x minus -1, which means +1. This is your point slope form. If you want to do slope-intercept form, from here, if you are looking for slope-intercept form, you're going to solve for y, which means you need to add 2 on both sides. If I do so, y is equal to -2 times x plus 1 plus 2 in here. If you distribute, this becomes -2x minus 2, and at the end, you have +2. Simplify this one more time. Y is equal to -2x. And since -2 plus 2 is equal to 0, you don't need to write anything. So this is your slope-intercept form where your y-intercept is +0. But normally we do not write 0 since it's not affecting any of your equation. Number 4, the cost of assistance dog training sessions is shown in the table. Write an equation in point slope form to represent the cost y of attending x dog training sessions. So here's a point slope form. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, where your slope-intercept form was y equals mx plus b. Both of them has m, where we are not given directly, so you're going to find the slope by using the table. In order to find the slope, you're going to find the constant rate of change. From 5 to become 10, it looks like I'm adding 5. From 165 to become 290, my number is increasing by 125. And since they are saying the x is the dog training sessions, where the cost is representing y, the slope was written by your y over x, which in this case, you will write 125 over 5. If you simplify this, this will become 25, and that is going to be your slopes. Now, I need to have a coordinate where I could plug in x1 and y1. In this case, when you are given with the table, look at these numbers as your pairs. So the first pair that you have is 5, 165. The second point that you had was 10, 290. Again, to replace x1 and y1, it doesn't really matter which number that you're using to. In this case, if I plug the 5 as your x1, then your y1 has to be the corresponding number, in this case, 165. Rewriting this, you will get y minus 165 is equal to 25 times x minus 5. And this is your point slope form. I'm going to show you another way to write slope-intercept form instead of solving from your point slope form. In this case, you are still given with x, y. I'm going to plug your x with your 5, and your y is 165. If you are looking at this, you are given with y mx except the b value. You're going to plug all the numbers to find b, and then you can rewrite this one more time. So in here, you will have 165 is equal to 25 times 5 plus b. 25 times 5 is 125, and 125 plus b has to give you 165. In this case, b has to equal to 40. So that's how I know when you write this. Remember that you are supposed to replace just m and b on your final answer. So y is equal to m was 25 and x stays the same and b is 40. So this is just another way to solve for slope-intercept form if you didn't have point slope form to begin with. One more example with the table. The cost for making spirit buttons is shown in the table. Write an equation in point slope form to represent the cost y of making x buttons. In here, they're only asking you to write a point slope form, so this could be a little bit easier than your number 4. Point slope form to begin with, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. They're saying the cost is your y and the x is the buttons. In this case, if I'm repeating the same steps, m has to equal to your constant rate of change of your y over x. 100 to become 150, I'm increasing by 50. 25 to become 35, I'm adding 10. So if you're writing your y value, the rate of y value is 10 over the rate of x value is 50. If you simplify this, you'll get 1/5. So that's going to be my slope. Your x1, y1 could be any pair of the points. When you're writing the pair, please don't mix it up. When you have 100, your y value is 25. When you had 150, your y value is 35. If you pick, let's say, this point, then I'm going to put x1 is 150 and y1 becomes 35. And so when you rewrite this, y minus 35 is equal to 1/5 times x minus 150. And this is your point slope form. And just FYI, your job is not to distribute this right now. You don't need to simplify anything. This is what they are looking for. This is the end of the lesson. Thanks for learning with me. If you have any questions, please leave a comment.